Peace to the gang, and welcome to Quit the Cat Podcast. Peace to the gang, and welcome back to Quit the Cat Podcast.
Yes,
it's your boy BP, alongside the Bishop, coming to you from Bang Bang Fitness Center here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Right.
And today's guest, ladies and gentlemen, is a graduate of Central Dauphin High School.
Yes.
He's also a basketball skills trainer. That's the best way to describe it. Yeah, he's a skills trainer.
We'll get into it.
We definitely will. He's a father. He's just an all-around dope dude. We got my man Jalon Bransford in here today.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, good brother?
Peace.
Nothing much.
Peace.
I'm well. I'm
Yes,
very
sir.
well. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. But before we get into
Yes.
this interview, we got to do a quick vibe check. So, Bishop, how you feeling today?
How do I feel today? I'm still.
Still. Okay.
I'm still.
Still letting it find you.
I'm still like a pond.
There you go. That's
No
cool.
ripples.
No ripples.
Still.
That's good, though. How you feeling today, Jalon?
I'm well, man.
well?
I feel like my best self in a long time.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's real, though.
What's up? That's good.
Yeah.
And you, brother, how you feeling?
I'm feeling wiggly. Most people don't say that, but that's how I feel. I feel wiggly. You know what I mean? I might dance after this, so you never know. You feel wiggly.
Okay.
But yeah, let's get into this, man.
Yeah, that leg jumping around.
I know. I'm like this. Yo, the crazy thing is when I watch the video, I'm like, stay still, nigga. But so yeah, I'll be having to check that. But yeah, let's get into this, man.
Absolutely.
So I know you like to lead this, so I'm gonna let you.
I always like to lead with just telling us a little bit about yourself, because this is my first time meeting you.
Yeah.
I have heard a lot about you, but it'd be good to hear from you and the viewers get a chance to hear who you are, how you came up, how you came about, and how you got to this point that you're at now.
Man. Well, I am from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I consider this home. Originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. But,
Okay.
I was raised here, so I consider this home.
Okay.
I was just a regular kid, just like everybody else. I had a very specific passion for the game, and where that really started at was going uptown to the Y and hooping. And a lot has changed, I think, in terms of culturally, how we have really, really cultivated that community, if you will. And I watched a lot of talented people come through. So for me, that inspired me once it came time to do that. That's exactly what I did. I played basketball every single day of my life. I was an and-one kid, a Nottic kid, underground basketball culture.
Okay.
So that inspired me to get the opportunity to, go ahead and perform and show out. And, I watched a lot of legendary players, I think, in this city do their thing. So that always inspired me to go ahead and do that.
Rings, man.
Thank you. This is they always catch people's attention all the time.
It's taking. Can you describe them what they are real quick?
Yeah, so these are just pyramids.
Yes.
I'm not gonna shout out the company because
Yes,
y'all got, you know what I mean.
But what's the meaning? What's the significance behind you wearing them?
Well, so damn, we're going there. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to see what
Everything means something.
Absolutely. All right. So for me, if you think about it in terms of our history, if you know who we are, we are kings and queens. But at the same time, if you really know your history in terms of where you're from, your heritage, we were scholars, we were architects, we were scientists, we were doctors. We did a lot of fascinating things that get swept underneath the rug. So if you look at the pyramids and how they were built, very, very interesting how that structure was done without any really instruments, any technology.
Absolutely.
And we did that.
And
they still stand still to this day. So having those on my hands, I think, is very, very powerful thing. And I carry them with me everywhere I go.
I have read a book where when the Romans came, they were so intrigued by the structure and how they were built that the same architects that went and built those had built the rocks. It's like a sundial, because they knew, the Egyptians knew that the sun shined on certain parts of the pyramid at certain times of the day.
Right.
And that's how they were able to tell high noon and being able to come up with the
Brilliance.
timetable. So
Brilliant.
they were the
Right.
ones that came up with time.
Right.
And they came up with high noon.
Right.
And that's where the sun was the highest.
Yeah, the highest,
And they
yeah.
made that the point of 12. So,
Man.
yeah, that's why I asked you.
Yeah.
You was one of my seniors. So I'm going to ask. Trust me. Listen, I'm there, brother.
Absolutely.
So I want to take you back to where you said you grew up uptown.
No, so
You just
I'm a
played
suburbanite,
ball?
man. I'll
Okay.
keep it real with you. So when I first moved here, that's where the highest competition was.
Okay.
You know, I
So who took you? So when moving here,
yeah.
because since you moved here and was in the suburbs, who and how did you end up playing ball uptown?
All right, so my brother, his name's Jalon Bransford.
Okay.
He was a freak, man. The
Okay.
guy could
Yeah, I
just
remember hearing about him a
play
lot back in the day.
everything.
Okay.
You know, basketball he was really, really good at, but he ended up, cementing his legacy and, going to James Madison University
Okay.
by playing football.
Okay.
But he was really, really good, so I was just tagging along. I was
Okay.
that younger sibling.
Okay.
So my mom would take us there, drop us off every single Saturday. They have the
Okay.
games
Yeah.
at, 9 a.m. all
Yeah.
the way through the rest of the
Yeah.
day. And then, he played on the travel teams as well.
Okay.
Rest in peace, Coach Cam,
Okay.
So I was there for all of
Okay.
that,
Okay.
But then, a lot of that time it was, the whole broadcast thing was
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
was
I know.
at that
Yeah.
time in the 90s.
Yeah.
Funny story really quick, man. I'll never forget. I didn't know what that was.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So I had a Puerto Rican bull named Dennis was one of my teammates,
Okay.
and he was like, "Yo, you a brother or cousin?" I was like, "Dude, I live in Lower Paxton."
Yeah.
and
Word.
and he was like, "I respect it. I didn't know what that was at
Yeah.
all." I was like, "Yo, this is just where the spot is to play ball at, dog.
Yeah.
This is what I'm here for." I didn't really understand what was
Okay.
going on in the neighborhoods or anything of that nature until I just got older.
Okay.
So, but that's the nucleus. That's where I started playing that, man.
Cool. I
Absolutely.
respect that. That's why I
Hey,
asked.
listen, I totally understand it. You're a
I
fellow
asked.
suburbanite. I was like, I'm not nothing, dog. I'm just here.
I'm just asking because and I appreciate your mom for not having that fear of, because some parents is not going to take their kids.
That's
to
a
ball
fact.
Right.
and,
That's a
you
fact.
know,
Uptown.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do think that gave you some sauce that way, because the competition versus there out Brightbill, and
Yeah.
you get the difference of
Yep.
the neighborhood. So that was
Absolutely.
It's a little rougher. You know what I mean?
Right.
Folks are going to play you a lot rougher in
Yeah.
the city. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll also say, too, I have to give credit to my father as well.
Okay.
I wanted to go to Harrisburg so bad, man, just because he would take me to every single game.
Okay.
I saw Quincy Wadley play
Okay,
a lot.
okay, yes, yes.
Saw Willie Black play a
Okay,
lot. I saw
yes.
Tink Clarence.
Okay, yeah.
I saw
Okay, you name
Jamelis
dropping.
Bryant.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes,
man, I'm a
okay.
historian of the game.
Okay.
Andre
Okay.
Henry, I thought was
Yes.
one of the best point
Yes,
guards I've ever
absolutely.
seen in my life.
Absolutely. That team was immaculate.
It's crazy.
It was, yes.
It was crazy. So I always would tag along with my dad and go see
Okay.
Harrisburg play, and I wanted to go to Harrisburg so bad.
Okay.
Just because of that and Smalls and just,
Yes.
I saw these guys go from the Y and then seeing them do their thing
Okay.
at,
Yes,
Hershey Park
absolutely.
Arena. I was like, all right, those are those guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I respect that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So take us into, cause I do want to know. I went to Central Dauphin.
Yeah.
I went to Central Dauphin for I got kicked out 12th grade. So I did graduate, but I didn't graduate from there. But
Right.
I had got my diploma switched.
Right.
So take me into how that was growing up for you, and did you play for Central Dauphin?
Absolutely.
So how did that work for you?
Man, it was like, all right, like I'm sure. So you have a brother, I believe. You have
Yes.
Brent? Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Lynn.
Juice. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we call him Juice, but
All
yeah,
right.
Len, that's my brother.
I believe your brother and my sister went to high school together.
Okay.
Yeah. So when B told me about the pod, I was like, yo, that looks like Lynn.
Oh.
I was like, is that Lynn? Damn, he got strong as hell. What was he doing?
Yeah.
So it was that, man. Like, I saw Blake Hamilton play,
Okay, yeah.
struggle all the time, man.
Yes.
Like, he was nice.
Yeah.
And he would just always, year after year after year after year, just couldn't really make it past, getting into districts, things
Yes.
of that nature, because he just didn't have a team,
Okay.
you know?
Yes.
So it goes from playing at Brightbill, going to Northside.
Okay.
Then you go to Lingelstown, hoop there, and then I'm going to the Y.
Okay.
All at the same time, I'm getting two different ways of learning how to play the game.
Ball. Yes.
So at the Y, I'm learning, okay, it's just more so about heart.
Okay.
Like, forget your talent. You're going to learn to just deal with the elements.
Yes.
People are talking. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be really crazy.
Yes.
It's going to be a high energy
Yes.
environment. They may want to fight you after the game.
Yeah.
They may want to fight you.
Yeah, they may want to during the game. During the game.
Right?
Yes.
So then when I go and play out at Lingelstown and they're like, yo, this is how you run the pick and roll. This is how you bring your defender. I've learned the IQ side of the game. And bringing both of those together, I think I just happened to go to Central Dauphin at the right time.
Okay.
Because we just really formulated a very interesting team.
Who was the coach out there at that time?
Marty Hassenfuss. Unfortunately, I really wanted to play for Ruby. And even before Ruby, I felt like Coach Lou deserved that position.
Okay.
And they never gave Lou that opportunity. They gave that to Ruby. Ruby was there all that time. And then my freshman year, so my sophomore year, he resigned.
Okay.
Yep. So Coach Hassenfuss was his name, and he was my coach basically from my sophomore year all the way through high school.
So you said you played Brightbill too?
Of course.
Who was out there when you was?
Man. Tommy Bryant, Bryant Balcom.
Okay.
All those guys. It was like,
okay.
And I lived in Pennswoods too at the time.
Okay.
For a particular time. Alex Jones, Phil. There's a bunch of guys out there. It was just a bunch. I mean, you never know who would pull up, to be honest with you.
I was in that neighborhood at that time.
That's when, they had the two color courts.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They had the red and they had the blue.
Yes.
And then they had the volleyball in the middle as opposed to now. So you never knew who was going to pull up there. That was the place to play at the time.
Did it matter which court you was on? Was like the red court the high court or the blue court the high court?
You wanted to be on the blue.
Okay, you wanted to be on the blue court?
That's the first court you see as soon as you come into the park. So you see that's where you wanted to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the red court, everybody was just shooting around. They ain't really getting no rut.
Yeah, pretty much. You can say that for the most
right.
part. And I was small, so they weren't really trying to let me play.
Right.
But that's where just coming in and just specifically, and we'll get into that, why I'm just so passionate about ball handling.
Right.
Because that's how I would catch your attention. Like, all right, I'm hoping that somebody fights. I'm hoping that they argue about the score or something and somebody quits. So like, oh, yo, young bull, come play. And I'm like, all right, yep, let's go.
Did you wait for you? So how was that? How was that trying out for the team? Like, when did you know you had it?
I'll have to say I knew 6th, 7th grade that this is what I was pretty much born to do. And I only say that because, I played on an AAU team at a very, very young age, before AAU became what it is in terms of revenue generating. Yeah. And we would be playing teams from all over the country, and we would smack them. And I'd be playing really well. I was like, damn, I guess this is what I was supposed to do. So going from 7th grade playing as I played at the 8th grade level, struggled, but I still did well. And then it was the year where I was in the 8th grade, and I was, we're about to go into high school, and my teammate at the time, Mark Mackey, he said, look, yo, I'm playing up. And I was like, why? And he was like, dude, we're going to be the guys. So we're going to need to adjust faster.
So you knew that in the 8th grade? Like, you knew to say that in 8th grade, or your man knew to say that, hey, listen, I'm playing up because we're going to be them guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he
That's
knew.
Dope.
I didn't really look at it in that way. I knew that we were next in line, if you will.
Yeah.
I always thought that we could play with the guys now. But he knew, and at that time I was with my crew, my friends, and we all grew up playing basketball. There's 13 of us.
Yes.
And we all just go to the park, meet up, go to the mall, do all that. And I knew that, they're not as serious about this as I am.
Yeah.
So this will be my last time playing with y'all, as a collective. And I stayed. I played. I stayed in my 8th grade year and played 8th grade again. So then going into the 9th grade, I played JV, started, and I was like, oh, the game is faster. This is different. And that woke me up. I was like, okay.
So you played for Lingelstown?
Yep.
How was that?
It was always fun, man. It was always fun because that was, I think, your opportunity to see certain guys on an official game type of level. Because I think like SWAT era at that time, CDEs, Harrisburg, Stilton, you see all these guys at playgrounds all the time, but playing them in an actual game was an entirely different thing. It's like, there's rules and things of that nature. So that was always fun. It was a joy.
Okay. What I had what made you, well, I hope we're not going too fast.
No, you're good. You're good.
What made you want to take the passion of the game and instill it in other children, so to say, or the youth?
Man. That literally comes from the fact of, I got my associates from Neumann University, but I dropped out of college.
Okay.
Right? I was going through some personal things within my family, within myself, some childhood trauma, and I dropped out.
Okay.
So I was a very straight-edge kid. I went to parties, of course, and things of that nature, that's like what comes with the territory when you're a popular kid. Hey, man, you played really well today. Like, yo, you get the invite, and you're like,
or was it
this is what y'all doing?
Because they want the one black kid.
That part too.
Because they want you there.
That part
Tell the truth.
Man, that is a very interesting dynamic dichotomy to have, because when you're an athlete and when you're doing well, you kind of have that invite of both sides. Right?
Yep.
So you can be, I was like pretty much for the black kids, they're like, yo, you too white.
Okay.
And then for the white kids, it's like, yo, you're too black.
Okay.
So I'm right there in the middle.
Okay.
And they just would say it's because of like the way you talk. And I'm like, man, like what type of shit is that? Just, it didn't make sense, the fact that I would get made fun of because I can articulate.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like my mom and dad taught me like, yo, this is
how you talk.
This is how you should speak.
Yeah.
And even that too, I think that was a blessing in going to Central Dauphin. Your ninth grade year, you had to take public speaking. My parents hated seeing an athlete on TV and they can't speak.
That's the worst.
They're like,
that's the worst.
Yes.
All that money he getting, all this attention this gentleman's getting, he doesn't know how to speak for himself.
Yes, absolutely.
It's terrible.
Absolutely.
So, but it came from, to answer your question, it came from having that success and then going to college, dropping out. I literally did not play basketball for about 4 or 5 years. I didn't touch a ball.
How was that for you?
I was burnt out, man. I was burnt out. I felt like at that time that I had played basketball since I've been like 5 years old. I just didn't want to play. It wasn't fun anymore, man. It was like a job. It felt like a job.
Okay.
Did you went to college for ball too?
Yeah, so I went to Neumann University, and even that time I knew I was crazy. I wouldn't say crazy. I was not thinking clearly about my decision in picking the school.
Okay.
Because I didn't really even look at myself as like, hey man, you could be like a mid-major Division I player, Division II, until I had a very, very awesome performance in the district playoffs, and we played Norristown at Hershey Park Arena.
So let me ask you, at this time, while you're going through, I'm gonna call it going through.
Yeah.
Because the counselors out there and how things go. Did they truly see your potential into talking you where to go and what would be a good fit? Were they able to see that with you being a young black male in their school? Could you really tell if they were taking interest in your education and you really striving, or was it just like, okay, we have a black kid here, he does real well, he has grades, he's a great representation, because I was not a great representation. Right. He's a great representation. Did you feel that they had your best interests?
Absolutely. Okay. I believe so. The people that I at least chose to involve myself in the very small circle that I had at that time, absolutely. I was just a knucklehead. I didn't get in trouble, but I just didn't I didn't really understand the amount of work that it would take, as opposed to like when you get older now and you're like, yo, I'm gonna work out every single day, I'm gonna do push-ups every single day, I'm gonna do, this is my thing, to have a process to get to this goal. I did not understand that at a young age. I didn't really get that. So in that process of visiting schools like Alvernia, Elizabethtown, Messiah. What's a school out there in Reading? I can't think of what it is. But I
didn't even drop in to drop out.
Yeah. Albright College, my bad. Albright.
Okay.
I visited a bunch of schools, Shippensburg, and they were all like, look, man, we just think you should go to junior college or you should go prep. And going prep at that time was not really what it is now.
Okay.
You know? So they're like, you're not going to graduate from high school. I was like, my parents, that's kind of important to my parents. All that time that I just put to get that education.
Why they feel you wasn't going to graduate?
Well, it wasn't that. Because literally, if you go to a prep school, you don't graduate from that high school.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You don't.
So would you leave early, and then do you leave early?
Yeah, you leave.
Okay.
You leave to basically take the core credits that basically can get you those grades so that you can get into the clearinghouse.
Okay,
and that allows you to be eligible for an athletic scholarship, a full athletic scholarship. So they're like, yo, you should go JUCO or go prep. And I was like, I visited one junior college, Harcum College, and that was in, there's a suburb outside of Villanova.
Is that where we went that one time?
Nah, it's very close.
Okay.
Very close to that area. But it's a very popular school now. A lot of the players from here actually ended up going to that junior college.
Okay.
Bryn Mawr is the name of it. Okay. And they showed me around the facilities, man. I'm seeing guys that are like, I've seen in passing at just like all-star games in that nature. And I was like, okay, there's some really talented guys here. And I was like, I really don't even really want to go to college for real. I just went to college, to be 100% honest with you, to see if I could play basketball at that level.
Okay.
That's all that I wanted to do at that time.
Did you get to experience that?
Absolutely.
So how was it for you?
It went exactly like I thought it was. I knew that if I would just stick around and do this, then like, wow, who knows what I would be doing at this time. You know, but I played very, very well.
Okay.
Super well.
So that wasn't enough to keep you to finish?
Nah, man, I was going through it, dog. Like, I'm not at a place to speak about publicly in terms of what exactly happened to me. I will say that I've definitely have gotten help in terms of, like, you know, I recently have gotten a therapist.
Okay.
Going through that process was very, very important to me to be able to speak to somebody. But, you know, I just experienced something to where I just really wasn't protected as a child. And I carried that burden on for me for years, and that had an effect on my love for the game, right? So, drop out, just party for years, all right? Party for a long time. I don't touch a basketball at all. I still am in the process, though, of always learning, right? Of always, like, I'm a big bookworm. I read a lot, right? So, I go to Dauphin County Library, walk there, and I just happen this perfect day. This is how God aligned you. It's so interesting, right? If you look back and you're like, man, that was like an accident. It's like,
that was supposed to happen.
That was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Boom. Like, he placed you here. Go here at this time.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So I'm going to the library, and Blake Hamilton's walking right out. And I haven't seen Blake in years. He's like, yo, you're here? Like, you're here?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. He was like, all right. Yo, dog, I'm doing this class at it's the Friendship YMCA now, but it's a Friendship Community Center.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, man, I'm doing this class, right? I just need you to finish. Like, I just need you for the next, 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
My brother, Bert, he'll just teach you everything that you want to know, and I'll pay you. I wasn't doing anything at that time but just working and just partying, living for the weekends.
Okay.
Right? So I was like, all right, cool. I'll pull up. When I did this class, man, I could not believe that there was even the term trainer existed. I didn't even know that, there's a basketball industry. They're paying people to do this.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was the easiest thing that I've ever done.
Okay.
So he was like, look, dog, I know you. I know your family. Like, we know each other very, very well.
Yes.
Obviously, we have this connection.
Yes.
I will teach you everything that you would like to know to make you successful, to get you started in this business.
On the business aspect,
Yep.
yes.
And I was like, all right, bet, let's do it. So this is the wake up. Boom, right? Blake's like, yo, meet me here. He's texting me a location. Meet me here at this time. Like, it's dead in the middle winter. Central Pennsylvania is cold. It's brick.
Yeah.
Right? I'm thinking this guy got an indoor basketball court in his crib. No. He gives me the address to his crib, and we're in the garage.
Okay.
And there's like cones and basketballs. I'm like, yo, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we about to do?
Yes.
He's like, I'm about to just train you, bro. So he has me doing a series that I like to call stationary ball wraps.
Okay.
This like breaks kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right? You can do this with anybody. I don't care how old you are, how skilled you are. This is something that is literally looked over. Nobody really does these things because they're like, man, I'm not doing that. Because
Right.
if you think about most of the time, if you see a kid playing basketball, they're just going to dribble to the court and then they're just going to shoot right away. Kids don't even stretch, and you know that as a you know.
Yes, absolutely.
You know that. People don't really prepare to.
Yes, mentally too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just come in.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. All right, I'm ready to get it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I'm
You sure?
trying to tell you.
Like, you're not ready to get it, but...
Yeah,
You sure?
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, puts me through this series, man. Head, waist, knees. Very simple. Put the ball around your head, around your waist, around your knees. Chest up, chin up, butt down. And just control your breath. Go as fast as you can go.
Now explain that.
Right?
Explain that in detail.
So,
I'll turn it into something.
Yeah.
Explain it in
We'll be in it. We'll be
the weight.
Yeah. We with a dumbbell, with a kettlebell or something.
you literally can do this with kettlebells.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, just think just have somebody stand tall, just
Yes.
nice and tall.
Yes.
All right.
Got you.
Nice and square, straight, 10 toes straight ahead. All right.
Yes.
Start with the ball in either hand. Whichever way the ball goes, if it's in your right hand, you have to have it go in that direction. So
Okay.
it can start off going to your left. And then you switch to go to the opposite side once you
Okay.
do those reps. So literally around your head, boom. Ball does not touch any part of your body.
Okay.
Hand-to-hand exchange.
Okay.
Around your head, around your waist, squat, chest up, chin up, butt down, around your knees, then
Okay.
back up. Right? That's one.
Okay.
Do that 20 times.
We're on a timer.
Got you. Boom. Timer and timing too, and you know this. Why does
Yes.
time just do something to the brain to
Yes.
like,
Oh, yeah.
yo, pressure?
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do that with the kid,
Yes.
like you can get the most maximum efficiency
Yes.
out of them.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like if you got to do a down and back or you got to run a
Yeah.
suicide. You're like,
You got 7 seconds. You're gonna make
Yeah.
that 7 seconds.
yeah, you're running hard though.
Yes.
Right? So he has me doing these, and then he does 2-1-2, 2-1-2 right, 2-1-2 left. And that's literally just 2. So around both legs, that's 2. Step back with your right foot. Go through your legs.
I got you.
That's 1. Go back around
Yeah,
2.
okay.
Then waist, head, knees.
Okay.
Head, waist, knees, 2-1-2 right. Do that 20
so then you
times.
gotta add- Yeah. I
Boom.
got
Do that to the left.
you. Okay.
Then do head, waist, knees, 2-1-2 right, 2-1-2 left.
Yes.
Head, waist, knees, 2-1-2 left, 2-1-2 right.
Got you.
Then stationary figure eights.
Okay.
Then go backwards.
Okay.
Right? And then do front to back catches.
Okay.
He literally taught me the basic building blocks of
Okay.
just
And
ball
it's building
handling.
mental toughness too.
That part too.
Yes.
Right? And I was like, damn, I was pretty good. I never did none of this shit.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I was so mad, dog. And he's like laughing. Like,
Right.
he's like, yo, you kind of look like the kids like that I
Right.
trained. And that woke me up. Boom. I was like, okay. So from that point forward, I worked out like 2 to 3 times a day
Okay.
for years.
Okay.
And that just snapped me back into reality of like, okay, man, you really had the potential to be something super, super great. So now you can be this conduit to teach the kids.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
you can see something.
Yes.
If you see something in a kid, like,
Yes.
yo, give him the game
Yes.
Right.
immediately.
Absolutely.
But then also it keeps me tight too because
Right.
these kids really don't want to listen. You kind of have to like prove to them that you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's something that I would do too in coaching.
Okay. Lead by example.
Listen, I seen him do it with grown men.
Yeah.
Grown men was like, man,
Yep.
yeah, man, he got them in line real quick. In the
Okay.
first
Yeah.
15 minutes, they was like, I
They
don't
put
know.
some respect on it.
They had to put respect on
Yeah.
it. They had to.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. So that woke me up, man. That experience there woke me up, and just starting to get into that entire process. And that was when, that was the first location that I do. And of course I bounced around and just learning with different people.
Mhm.
But, I got to shout out Blake because he really taught me the business.
Right.
So when you speak of success, what sticks out to you the most with training? What when you speak of, like, what sticks out the most to make training successful? What do you look for to say, okay, this kid has it? Or what do you install in them as a package, so to say?
Man, how do I put this? Pitch is very simple. Like, I literally have a call with every single parent.
Okay.
And I just have a process to where I have a questionnaire, I ask them very specific questions about their kid. And that information allows me to extract what I want to know about that kid and their desired goal.
So how on point does the parents be? See, because now, because I know that, I'm coming with it.
Yep.
So, because because that makes you have to be strong because you're dealing with two diverse of families. And then you get to see, how some parents aren't in tune with their children.
This part too, though,
yes.
I'll say in terms of kids,
okay.
is very interesting. I think that at some point in time, you have to sever that tie, especially if you are really good at your craft. Like, okay, I get the Ball brothers, like Jesus Shuttlesworth and, what he did with Jake and all that. That was crazy. That sometimes that dynamic works. You do have that works. But sometimes that is literally the reason why a kid's like, yo, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to do this again.
So when you get that, does it be like the parent trying to live? Do the parent normally play sports, or what is that? Like, I'm trying to figure out, because sometimes I see
it a lot.
Like parents trying to force the child to be something they wasn't, or they think that instead of, I don't know why they think that sports would be the end of all end, because if your son might just not make it to pro, so the more thing you would want to be, I see parents spend a lot of money on practice, training, and now your son's a Giant after school. I mean, after high school, after college, he's working at Giant. You spent all this money where you might just not have seen that, okay, I will put this much into his education and learning, or just a craft or a skill or a trade that leads, so when you see that, are you honest with, like, are parents saying, hey, this is what we want our kid, like, do they have the NBA aspects, dreams more than, because you'll sense it when
I can tell in the first 5 minutes with the kid warming up if they're going to take this seriously or not. I can tell just by the way you're stretching, like, this isn't for him. But I'm going to do this just so, like, he understands. Like, maybe you want to do something else. And that's not a bad thing to put it that way, but it's just like, we're more than entertainers, athletes. There's more to us than just that, than our physical capabilities and to entertain people. Right? So I can tell within minutes. And I think that it's something, it's kind of both parts. So I think it's maybe parents living through their kids. And then at the same time, we have this right here. So this thing here can literally build some false, confidence about what exactly you know and how to do something. You know what I'm saying? Everybody says that they want to be a professional, but they don't do the things to actually be a professional. Kids are like,
say it again. Say it again.
Everybody wants to be a professional, but they don't do the things to become a professional.
Absolutely.
There's a huge difference.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Ask a kid who's their favorite basketball player. I did it actually this past weekend. I asked this kid, hey man, who's your favorite basketball player? He said Steph Curry. I said, YouTube his pregame routine. Specifically his pregame ball handling routine.
His pregame routine is crazy.
Like, people will just show up just to look at that. And that's actually a thing now, to where people will come to an arena early to be like, yo, what's their process before they play? Right? And he's like, yeah, I've seen it. And I'm like, but this is your favorite player and you don't even...
And you don't emulate it. Yes.
You want the accolades, you want the fame, the commercials,
you want the end result.
They
want the end result.
And the clout on social media.
Yes, they want the end result.
But it comes with putting in that hard sweat equity before, and that's where you get them.
Yes.
So that's usually where
you see how really bad they really want it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I wanted you to explain what you meant by preparation and action, or... I can't even read my writing. Real game changers. So what do you mean by preparation and action are the real game changers? Explain that to me.
Man.
Even though I know, I want you to explain it to me.
Preparation and action are the real game changers.
Yes.
It's very simple. I've been doing basketball training since 2010. It's 2023.
Yeah.
I have worked for so many different people.
Right.
I have learned so many different things with training all different types of kids.
Yes.
Trying things out to see how it works. I knew that this was what I was born to do, and this is going to open the door so I can do other things that I'm interested in.
Right.
But it's the fact that I literally do the same thing in terms of preparation.
Okay.
I have a basketball dribbling routine that I do every day. If I don't do it, I feel weird.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you don't warm up before you work
Yes.
out, or if you don't pray,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
whatever your
Yeah, I got
morning
my
routine
thing.
is,
Yes, I got my
Right.
thing. Yes.
you feel weird.
Yes, yes. I need. Oh yeah, I'm making time for mine.
Like, you're like,
yes,
man.
absolutely. Yes,
You see, I got
Yeah.
something on me.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I got you.
And that has literally taught me everything.
Yes.
Because without
That
that
preparation. Yes.
without that 10,000 hours, as Malcolm
Right.
Gladwell
Yes.
says,
Right.
Yes.
then all it takes is that one opportunity to showcase what you can do,
Yes.
and you never know who's
Yes.
watching.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that determines everything.
Yes. Cause I am so today, right. I am one that I'm religious with things, and I am one that believes the smallest thing that you do repeatedly will make you so much better. Where people be like, "How did you do that so easy that it becomes effortless?"
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't care what that thing is. You just have to show up and be consistent with
Right.
that thing. You know.
Facts.
So I get it. And to be able at that level to still be able to dribble and to do the things where you can still go out and play and still feel fulfilled. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But see, people believe that materialism outside the court, that those things what makes the sport, or you got to be in the NBA. No, you can still feel fulfilled from doing something you love,
Right.
even if there's not a crowd cheering for you.
Right.
So that carries over in that preparation, that 10,000 hours. I'm big on that. You know, practice doing things repeatedly. You know, doing it religiously, showing up to where it feels effortless, to where you just do it and it just flows, to where it even blows you away that you're able to do those things in that aspect. So
Yeah.
seeing, just even when I was reading the bio and just seeing that you take that part seriously,
Very.
and that's the keys to the longevity and success of your company, that you'll be able to keep instilling and creating players, not just physically but mentally.
Absolutely.
Taking them to that brink of consistency. Because you got some coaches that don't even believe in what they say, and it shows.
Man.
Yeah.
You know.
A coach's job at the end of the day is what, like a high school coach or even say a rec league coach. Their job is to pick the best players and win.
Right.
Period.
Right.
But I think that you should be able to adjust.
Okay.
Right. Look at Coach, Valvano, Jimmy V.
Yeah, Jimmy V.
Okay. He was so in tune with his craft. He knew the game so well from an X and O standpoint, which is very, very interesting from a coaching standpoint, because you physically can't go out there and do it.
Right. Right.
Right. You know how
Yes.
that's why Jordan could never be a coach.
Yes.
Because he would be like,
Right.
"Yo, I'm taking this.
He got-
off the field,
yeah,
I'm
he
going
gotta
in
go
the
play.
back, and I'm putting some
Right.
numbers up."
Right.
To be able to communicate what you see on the floor efficiently and effectively, and learning how to do that in different ways with kids, because
Mhm.
they're all kids learn different ways.
Is that
Hey,
mental reps?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
To be able to communicate and learn how to communicate with kids, that you can be able to maybe yell at this kid.
Okay.
You may have to
Yeah.
whisper to this guy.
Right.
You can just be silly with this guy. To be able to learn
Yes.
how to communicate and
approach,
get the
yes.
most out of that
Yes,
individual is
absolutely.
very, very, that's a
Emotional
skill.
and social intelligence.
That's
Yes.
a high skill.
Yes,
That's a
Right.
highly
Social
Very high
intelligence,
skill,
you have to
yeah.
use it, yes.
And to see something that you see, like, okay, if we make this adjustment here, or if I put this kid in here and we do this, we don't win the game.
Right.
Okay.
So to be able to do that, I don't think a lot of coaches possess that at all,
Okay.
especially at the lower levels, because this is a revenue generating sport.
Yes.
Right.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
now it's blindsided.
Right.
With that.
All you're going to get an opportunity just because you're the coach of, say, a team that has a sponsorship to Adidas, and you guys are going to tournament after tournament after tournament, and you're blowing teams out.
Okay.
That brings the kids opportunities for them to get scholarships, but somebody's going to look at them and be like, hey, man, who's that guy? That guy is cultivating that talent.
Okay.
Let's give him something.
Right.
And they
So
build
let me
their
ask you
careers
this.
off of that way.
Is it possible to, I know some kids are athletic, so do you like to have them athletic and then you can add the skills to them, or can you take a kid and make him great?
My tagline, I like to say, I can teach a newborn baby how to dribble basketball. I love teaching kids that just don't know anything. Nothing at all. And that is how I think, like, the true testament of what your purpose is, or how talented you really are, or how much do you really know your craft. Right. If you can't simplify what you know on the level of like a 5-year-old understanding it, then you don't know it.
Then you don't know it. Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, you got to put your hips this way in 90 degrees and have a shin. Bro, nah, bro, you don't know it.
He don't know 90 degrees.
Nope. You don't know it that way. Right? Because think about it, at the end of the day, how much can you really teach LeBron?
Right.
Like you,
or Tom Brady,
right?
Yes,
Yes, absolutely,
right.
Yes.
So it's funny, like when people take pictures and like, yo, I'm training with this guy, and I'm like, yo, the kid's already maxed out.
He knows what to do.
He's 6'6". Like he's been doing this his whole life. You might have just put him through a workout, and made him sweat. That's it. What did you really teach him at the end of the day?
That's for their own glorification. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. That's exactly it.
So I'm like, okay, take a kid that just has a pure love for the game, and go from there and see what happens. That's the true testament of what you can do. In terms of athletically, I think now it's so crazy because I think any kid has the capability of being an athlete, regardless of your genetic makeup.
Right.
Okay.
Because it's science. It's scientific. You know what I'm saying? Do this for an X amount of reps, periodization, have your phases, your hypertrophy phase, et cetera. Get your treatment. You're going to be jumping 40-inch vert. Fast twitch fibers, strength.
Doing this. Yeah, now you can build each component and each compartment.
These kids will dunk on you now, yo.
I know
like,
it.
Yo, it's different now.
You know it.
It's scientific.
And the food.
That part too. That part too. Which is ridiculous.
Bionic. You walk around. You 13.
You like, golly, young fella. I mean, sir. I mean, you a big little dude.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's different.
Yeah.
So, what do you think your goal, your ultimate goal with training is? Like, where do you want to take it to?
Now, just because of the way the economy is, like, you got bricked and linked up. Everybody's tired of the United States. Right? Because of the things that we've done time after time after time after time after time as a superpower to other countries. Now that they're clicking up, they're like, yo, like, y'all not the top dogs anymore. I think for me right now, it's like philanthropic efforts in other areas to where there's so much talent. Like, there's so much talent in Africa, bro. You like, just if you go to your phone and just go to like Ghana or
I seen the dude that was playing. He's trying out for the baseball, like, but he's working out with tires and he don't got no real equipment, nothing. But he's getting it and he's nice, and they just got him over here.
There's an abundance of talent in other places in the world, and all they need is just somebody to be like, yo, okay, just do this. To build that infrastructure, if you will, in terms of like how we have grassroots programs and feeder systems. You know, like, look at a successful team. Like, look at a dynasty. It's built, and it's designed that way because they know
the structure.
Being like from the it could be from like the ticket holder or the ball boy. You know what I'm saying? The announcer.
All the way through.
Everybody has a role that they play in the success.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So for me right now, the ultimate goal at the end of the day is to provide that in Ghana, in Nigeria, all over Africa, to be personally honest with you.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. That is my ultimate goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how can I say it? So you meet them halfway. You meet them where you're at, like as far as like the parents signing up and what they can afford? How does that work for you?
It's just a system. I've learned like sales, to be very honest with you. The name of the game, very simple, is to build value, authority, as much as you possibly can. So going through that process from having, let's say, your sales funnels to where you're just generating leads. Now, it's very, very cool to use the content to build that authority space in that particular industry. That like, yo, I'm knowledgeable, I'm top of mind. Right. I would like to get to that point to where if you think about, all right, I want to have my kid dribble this way, or this is, I want to have him build his movements. Okay, Jalon's top 5. This is one of the guys that you have to contact, right? In order to get to that space, you have to just do as much as you possibly can in terms of offering value to the parents.
So let me, I want to see if I follow. I got you, but I want to. So do you fine tune into one aspect? So you do work on shooting, but my main thing is to dribble.
If I could teach a kid one particular skill of all things, it would be handles and free-flowing movement. Teach them how they learn, how their bodies move, right?
So is that the hardest thing? Is that the most fundamental thing they need to know, and then you can teach the other stuff later?
Nah, because it's at the end of the day, that's what I want to do, but right?
You get to the basket and be like,
yo, the funniest thing is, I structure my sales calls in such a way that it's like, okay, I figure out what is this kid's desired result. I know what I want to teach him at the end of the day. I know what my main thing is, what my jam is. But what does this kid really want to improve? So just by asking what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what position do you play and do you enjoy playing it? Hey, compared to your teammates, are you above average or one of the best
I don't
players
normally
on the team?
speak on their stuff.
Man.
Quit the cap.
I see the adults, but I know how adults. I just want to know, at that kid, are they encouraged? Do they feel highly, or are they?
I've talked to thousands of parents. Out of all of these calls, right, there's only one particular time, and this happened last week, and I don't know if it was a language barrier or not, but this woman just wanted me to speak to her son, right? And I was like, I usually just want to speak to the head of the household, because you can make your financial responsibility, and you're going to be able to take your kid to and from the sessions, right? So this kid is just like, I think I'm nice. Like, he's not really answering the questions in the way that I would want to. He's like, I think I'm nice. Like, I'm pretty solid. And I'm just like, all right. So that I usually do one of two things. From there, depending on how that process goes, and just directly making that offer, right? If I can't get them to commit to doing that, then I say, okay, look, we can do a free assessment, as I like to call it. And it's just free. I usually, I dumb out sometimes, to be honest with you, just because I just love to teach people, period.
I got you.
Right?
I'm with you.
So sometimes it turns into like an hour. It's just a 3-hour workout. And that is an icebreaker, number one. And then that gives you the opportunity to just draw. You're like, you know what? I know this kid is not ready to do this, but the number one thing that parents want to see is their kid struggling.
Right.
They're like, there's something that he doesn't know how to do.
Right.
This could be the guy that could be the conduit to teach them. Right? And that happens almost all the time. All the time that happens. Absolutely.
So do you get some of them where they be like, this, and you got to expose them?
Too many times.
The teeth suck lets you know that they be out there lying. I'm about to kill this coach. Watch this. Man. You ain't doing nothing.
It's like this. How do I say this? And this is
along came Polly when he was like 3 points.
Let it rain.
Let it rain.
Oh my goodness.
That is one of my favorite scenes in that movie, yo. He was just letting that joint fly, had no business whatsoever. That was hilarious. Where I'm at right now in terms of that is very interesting, because I'm on this new wave of just the CLA's constraint-led approach, right? So if you look at, let's say, overseas and how they structure, it's more so of an academy,
Okay.
You know what I mean? So they will basically remove a kid from their home at a very young age. And they have certifications over there in Europe to where you have to be knowledgeable about what you're doing.
Okay.
You can't just run rec and play fives like we do over here in the States. It's very, very different how they structure their development system.
That helps you better the more you know for the game. Yes, got you.
Look at maybe the last decade international players.
Yes.
Like they're a problem.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're a problem.
Yeah.
Like we even struggled with even the super team that we had in the Redeem team and
Right,
the B.
right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
yeah,
Spain,
right.
Argentina. Right? These are squads.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're catching up.
Right.
Right? And it's because of the constraints-led approach. So what that basically means is you are manipulating the practice environment to make it more difficult in the game. And you're allowing the kid to perceive, right? Make a decision and then act. As opposed to what we like to break stuff down to kids and give them the answer.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you think about it, once you're in the midst of competition,
You gotta figure it out
You gotta put them in the
anyway.
heat of the moment. Yeah, I got you.
like let me ask you a question. When you see a superstar have a catchphrase, what's that number one thing that they say in terms of like a player starting to break out? They're starting to come into their prime.
Like when they're coming into their prime.
They all say this, it's probably 1,000 clips of all the past superstars within the past 10 years. They all say it's even longer.
I'm not even sure.
And when I say it, you're going to be like, damn, you're right.
Go ahead, I'm ready.
The game is slowing down.
Damn, you're right. You're right.
The basket be getting
Yeah,
bigger.
you're right. That's exactly what they say.
Yeah.
Because they have the physical attributes.
Yes, they've been through all the terrain.
All the training.
Their body doesn't go through. Yes, it doesn't. It's fight or flight. It's all the. Yes,
It's
I got you.
this.
Yes.
Can
Right.
you decide with all of the elements, all of the stimuli that go on that are uncontrollable? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Uncontrollable. You can't control what a parent is going to say on the sideline.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't control how your teammates are going to react when they actually see their opponent across the floor. And they got on Jordan sweatsuits and they're geared up and they're doing windmills in the line. Right. There's no drill that you can really create to help a kid make a decision on, okay, do this move. It's not about doing this move in this particular scenario. It's for you to be able to understand how your body moves so that you can adapt at any given time.
And then it'll be flow once you have the message. Yes.
Right.
You're just going to react and not have to think about it.
Bing.
Gotcha.
So add more players. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a game of 5-on-5, right? There's only 10 players on the floor at the same time. But add a couple of defenders to a concept.
Okay.
To where, you can be, say, trying to get through the pass through of maybe the gaps or splitting, decrease the size of the floor,
Okay.
add another basketball, add some type of stimuli, right?
Okay.
There's a reason you basically constrain to afford,
Right.
Yes. And this is something that Europe, they've been on this for a very long
when
time.
It's normal, it's just a different.
Right.
It's ridiculous. It's just like releasing a wild animal. So I'm on that.
Okay.
But then I understand at the same part too that heavyweights needs 2 and 2 for a kid that has never picked up a basketball, 0 to little experience works.
Okay.
Like a mic and drill at the end of the day doesn't prepare you for somebody that's trying to smack your shit out of bounds.
Right.
So I'm stuck in the middle between both of those worlds at the same time, and it's always a push and pull of like giving a kid a certain approach to depending on what exactly they want to improve on.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at just right now. It's very interesting.
Just making it hostile as possible, so that way if I put you in the fight now, when you get out here, it's going to be easier for you.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do that for myself.
Absolutely.
So that way, when situations in life come, it's not as I'm not reacting because I already put myself mentally through those type of just because it's all the same feeling.
It's like what do they say is you get I'm 35, so they say like if you're in your 30s, you should be doing like as much hard stuff as possible.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? To mentally prepare yourself for
Anything.
anything that's
Yes,
going
absolutely.
to come your way. Murphy's Law.
Yes. Absolutely.
So doing that, like doing the hardest thing possible in the morning, first thing, that just sets you up for your day.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're good to go.
Yeah. Help you build mental fortitude.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Man, this has been an awesome interview with Jalon, man. We appreciate you coming through. Tell the people where they can find you at, how they can reach you, what they need to do.
Handlesfromhome.com. We literally just completed building this site because I do code too. I am a certified full stack developer.
Hey,
all right?
Okay, word.
And really quick, because I know that we're very, very short on time, I just want to say why that's very important. We are way more than just athletes and entertainers.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
I think it's very important to be able to take control and get a foothold on the structure of what exactly it is that you're doing on the back end.
Yes.
So if you want to do a show or
Yes.
if you want to have a product, it's very important that you have systems in place and you know how everything operates.
Right.
If you don't know how to do everything, then you can at least empower the other people around you to say, all right, I'm knowledgeable about this. I know, but I can't do it. Let me find the person to put in this position to help me move forward. All right, but handlesfromhome.com, what's up? Merch is on the way, and we're out here.
All right.
All right,
Yeah.
I
man.
like it, brother.
Thank you.
Hey.
I like it, brother.
Yes, sir.
You got what it takes,
Thank
man.
you. I really
definitely
appreciate it.
doing
He
your thing.
definitely does, man.
And I am happy to see that part, that knowledge part, because I'm big on, I feel like, I seen something, I don't want to misquote it, but it was saying, having the knowledge without action is like having wings with no legs.
Facts.
So, without putting it to action and without having the knowledge applied, because that's people, how did you get over here learning about this? Because when I start doing something, I got to learn how it started, where it originated from.
Right.
That's just me, because I need to know all the way from the beginning, because then when I do it, it makes it easier. Now my mind has a better understanding of what we're doing, and it all flows better. So, I'm definitely big on having the knowledge behind anything. Anywhere I'm at, I'm going to, how does this function? Who started it? Who came up with it? Who created it? Is it ran through whatever type of system? So that way you be like, oh, well, this is ran by white supremacists. Be like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Homework.
Right.
So you want to know, there's people out here confessing and saying things, but you don't know where it really originated from. So I am big on just that knowledge part, and I respect that to the game, because that makes the kids have to use not just their skill, but they're using both hemispheres of their brain, and they're using both parts, because that's ran off of two different systems. You can be able to ball, like you said, they get up there and can't speak, but yet you at this pinnacle, you still don't feel education or learning these skills, because you're going to be in front of people is important. So that just shows that, I just show up and be barbaric and be and that's the end of it, because at the end of the day, you might not go to college. So, you might not go to the NBA, and you can still take, like you have, and turn that skill into income and actually help teach one and lead one. So
your prime is only so big.
Yeah.
It's not as big as you think it is.
It's not.
And if you look at majority of the guys that had success on the court, men and women alike, their transition is something that they're like, that's what I really like to see. And that's why I'm like, man, that's why I miss Kobe so much, because he was just getting started.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
He's like, I figured it out. Yo, it's up. It's lit. Like, we about to change this whole game.
Yes.
And, so taking a hold of your talents right now, it's good to have that prime. It's good to have that, but you're so much more than that. You have a whole entire other life ahead of you after you stop playing, after you get that adoration from people because of what you were put on this earth to do.
We're going to bring you back, because I need to know about this coding, and I need to know that.
Yeah.
Man.
It's a lot more.
Hey, listen, I know you get into it too. I know it. I know we can. That's a whole another hour, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
We appreciate you coming, and we definitely want to get you back.
Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
This has been another episode of Quit the Cat Podcast. I'm your boy BP, alongside the Bishop. Thank you to Jalon for coming through.
Yes.
We'll highlight y'all next time. Peace. Peace to the gang, and welcome to Quit the Cat Podcast.